why I repeated. Okay. Our company is found at Ham Towers, Makerere, Hill Road. Thank you so much for reminding me. And I tend to forget. Okay. Then the city was Kampala. Then the zip was our code, that is 56. Then the country, I told you Uganda doesn't fall anywhere in the list that we are given, so we choose other. Then the contact, what was the contact that we are using? The contact was contact was 256 256. Okay. And just press it there. Our contact was 256-4153-66-421. Then the fax, also just copy that. Let me just copy then the fax. And the fax was plus 256-415-200-987. Then the mail, our mail was queens@invest.com. So let that be. It was queens, now it will be queen1 at invest.com. Then the website will be www.queen1@invest.com. Then we move to the next part. We said that our company will follow under a general product-based business. Okay. Then, how is your company organized? We said here we don't know. We don't have any information about the ownership of the company. So we choose other. Click next. Then our fiscal year, we said let it start. So what I'm going to do, our fiscal year, let it start in this very month that we are in. Let it start in September. We shall change that. That means we don't put a password. Then create a company file. I want us to use a current month so that it can be easier for us. That's why I've chosen that. Next, we are going to save our company. So let's save it on the desktop. We shall not create a folder there. Put it just there. Let it be Queen, investment. Save. Wait for it to save. If I'm so fast, you let me know. I don't want to go so fast. me be able to put that number. Let's it down here. Waiting for save. Okay, saving is coming. Okay. That. Okay. So now our company has finished saving. So let's move on to the next part, where we are going to just customize. I told you when we reach at what do you sell, I told you don't choose services only or products only. Let's choose both so that it can be easier for us. If you choose services only, there is when you start capturing the items, that's where you can find the problem, where you see that you don't have the inventory part. Then choose both services and products. Then you go to next. Do you charge sales tax? I gave you the reason why we charge this. Next, do you want to create estimates? Yes, because we are not sure of what is exactly needed. So we can create estimates. You may be like, hey, maybe this can be wanted. You just estimate even the quantity. Next, tracking customer orders. I told you tracking customer orders, it's the same as tracking your customers. So we click on yes, then we go to next. Using statements in QuickBooks, yes. The main reason is to get financial statements at the end of the day that we can easily share up to our stakeholders. Then move to next. Using progress invoicing, I told you this is mainly used by construction companies. So we don't use that because for us, we are best product business. Then managing bills you owe. Yes, this is the same as managing or tracking your suppliers or vendors. Move to next. Tracking inventory in QuickBooks. Yes, knowing the stock you have, even when to restock. Tracking time. Yes, it helps you know when to process the payrolls, when to collect bills from your customers, and when to pay to suppliers. Next, do you have employees? Yes, QuickBooks assumes you only have 2 employees and the rest are contractors. You can't just say that you don't have employees. You don't know whether tomorrow you will need 1. So you have even more than 2 contractors. Using accounts in QuickBooks. Next, when is your starting date? Use today's date as the first day of the quarter or month. No, let's use the one for yesterday. This will be our start date, beginning of the fiscal year. Let it be yesterday. We assume that our business started operating yesterday. Then next, I told you we have to untick all these accounts because they are not attached to us. Untick all and then move to next, where we are congratulated for completing the setup interview. Then we go to setup. What we have just done is creating a company and customizing it. Now we are moving to the next part. That will be about the editing of preferences. So we are waiting for the system to come in. Okay, then logging in. Let's wait for it to come. Okay. So it's taking long. Okay. Yeah. So when it brings us this interface, I told you move down and look for start working. Okay. So that is our home interface. Quick start center. We don't want this. So let's start off. So we start by editing the preferences. And in our preferences, we had the accounting preference that we had to edit. So what do we do in the accounting preference? Look at it. We accept to use account numbers on all our accounts. Here we said yes, we shall be grouping our items, and we shall be carrying out a grouping of that transactions, all parking transactions. And we said that we shall assign classes to and accounts. We shall assign classes to items. Or if it may disturb you, you can leave it out, unless when the company you are working for groups its items. Then the date, when if the transactions are dash days in the past, the days that we said here, let's give them just 20 days. Like in the past, the system should tell us that this thing was taken on credit 20 days back. If we are remaining with 10 days, we get to remind our customers, or we also remind ourselves that we are supposed to pay our suppliers back. Then even the system can warn us, we say that let it warn us 5 days in the future that we are supposed to deliver something 5 days in the future. Then we set the statement ending date, or when our fiscal year is supposed to end. If our year starts on 1st September, that means it ends in August, on the last day of August. And that will be next year, because we have started it on 1st September 2021, that means it ends on 31st August 2022. That's when we shall be closing off our transactions for that financial year. And you can say, okay. Then here that the accounting preferences have been set. So you can say, okay, for this. And then we edit another preference. According to the question, the next preference was checking. We search, let me see the question. We said that, checking, let checking come in later, because for it includes even back. Let's first look at what was the next. The next one was inventory and item and inventory preferences. This, we come and set up something in it where we say that we shall be using quantity on hand, not quantity available. We shall be using that. Then unit of measure, we enable the unit of measure we are going to be using. And I said it is better to choose multiple units of measure item, because they can be identified, they can be measured in different ways. Like they can be measured in time, they can be measured in liters, they can be measured in kilograms, they can even be just counted like in boxes. So we finish that. For that, that's what we need. Then you can say, okay, we move to the next one. It was multiple currencies. We save this. Then we move to the multiple currency preferences, where we said that we shall be using more than one currency for our transactions. So we choose, yes, I use more than one currency, and then you have to choose the home currency, the one that is mostly used. And we said in Uganda that will be UGX. So we choose that and we make it active. Yes, then here in closing, have to close. We have to say, okay, then the company file will now close and be open when it has updated the currencies that we are using. Okay, wait for it to come back. Okay. Okay, then we move to the next preference, which is, what was it? Let's see the question. The next preference was sales and customer preferences. Sales and customer preferences. Yeah. And we said in that, come to company, the sales form, usual shipping method, who will be our shipping partner in this? We said let's be using DHL. The only thing that we wanted there. Let's see. Yeah, the only one. Choosing who will be in case we are shipping something abroad or we are bringing in something from abroad, who will be our shipping partner. That is DHL. Then we can say, okay. So that. Then the next preference was, let's look at the next preference. The next preference was checking. Let's Yeah, let's first go to checking. Checking preference. I repeat sales. Okay, move back to sales. Sales and customer. Come to edit, move to sales and customer. And I said in sales and customer, what we need is to specify the shipping partner or the company that is responsible for shipping our products, either when we are bringing them in or when we are sending them abroad. And I said here we shall be using DHL. I think you know that shipping company. You can use DHL. It's the common one in Uganda. And it's the only thing that you wanted to. The only thing that you, in case you find these, when they are unticked, use price level list or price levels. If it is unticked, you tick it. These checkboxes here, you have to make sure that they are active because you'll need them. Like enable sales orders, warn about duplicate sales order number, then don't print item with 0 amount. When printing the invoice, don't print it with 0 amount. You have to print an invoice with the amount. Hope we are clear there. Then we move to the checking. And we said in checking, here we shall be using some banks. So let's see the banks we chose. Checking, we use petty cash book. Petty cash book for cash payments and receipts. So let's come back to the question. Then for the petty cash book, then equity for the deposit, then Stanbic Bank Stanbic operating account for all expenses and bills. So who is responsible for our checks? I think this one for all expenses and bills will be the one for our checks again. Then deposits, it will be Equity Bank. So let's come back here and we begin. Who is responsible for our checks? We add a new company. And we said this, I said that let's use Stanbic operating account even for the check payments because it's the one that is responsible for checks and for bills and expenses. That means some expenses I'll be paying using check, some bills I'll be clearing using check. So let that be Stanbic. Stanbic operating account. Stanbic operating account. Then we have the opening balance in that country, in that bank. Who is it is 16M. Let's take on the 16M. Then statement ending date. When should these people give us a bank statement at the end of our fiscal year? And we said that our fiscal year will be ending on 31st August. Then here we can say, okay. So our balance is 16M and the statement ending date will be 31st August 2022 when we are ending our financial year. Then another one, even to pay bills, we are using the same. So we just check this and we choose Stanbic. I said let it be the one managing my checkbook and let it be the one that I use to clear operating expenses in case I'm paying using bank. Then open for taxes, we didn't have it. Then open to make deposit. For the deposit, we had it was equity deposit account, and we had how much did you have? You had 15M on it. So let's come back here for all deposits, company deposits, add a new account. This will be equity deposit account. And we had an opening balance in it where we had 15M. Then you can say, okay. Okay, statement ending date, I have not entered it. Okay. Then you can say save and close. Moment. Okay. In case of any question, what of petty cash book? Petty, we are going to enter it because we are not having anything like cash transactions here. So for it, we shall capture it when we are capturing other accounts, where we go to chart of accounts. That is for the petty cash book. Then even taxes, I can generalize taxes to be under standard operating account. So I can use standard operating account to be the one for paying my taxes, because for it, it's responsible for the bills. Excuse me, Mr. Gerard, why does it say opening balance and yet we put in the ending date? Opening balance, we assume that this, remember what we are capturing now, the date we are capturing the balances that we are having for this financial year to start. Like we assume that we are starting a new financial year. Let me give you an example of Coke. Like if it is 1st January, when Coke is capturing all this information about the balances in the account, the balances of their customers on 1st Jan, they are capturing balances they are having for this financial year that is starting. Then ending date, when should the bank give you a bank statement? At the end of, like, which date should it be giving you a bank statement? And we say that it shall be giving us the bank statement at the end of our financial year, so that we can be able to know how we have been running that bank account for the full financial year, how the bank account has been performing for a full year. Okay, now we are clear. Then you can say, okay, here. That has been captured. Then what next? Then the other preference is, the sales tax preference. Okay, then let's come back. Sales tax preference. We go back to edit and choose preferences, then sales tax. Sales tax preferences. Yes, we said we charge sales tax, then you have to enter the sales tax item. Remember, sales tax item, the way I explained to you that it's like an item that you buy. you pay for it, though you don't have the item. So it is called a sales tax item. I give you an example of supermarket, where you buy things and they even include tax and they charge the tax. So the tax name is VAT. Shall use VAT. Plus, it doesn't fall under, okay, we let it fall under sales tax. Then description. Okay, it wasn't among my list, my class list. So I just had to add a new one. Plus sales tax. Okay. Then description, charged on all chargeable, charged on all chargeable items. Then the rate, in the question, which rate did we have? Chargeable on all sales transactions. The rate we had 18%. 18.0%. Then the vendor, we said we shall be using URA. Our vendor is URA. Copy and paste. We don't have other information about the vendor, so we can say okay. We have finished capturing the sales tax. Then we can say okay. Then other information about the sales tax item. We shall use those codes. Let's see a question. Okay. Then the tax is collected on accrual basis and is paid monthly. So we come on, when do you owe sales tax? We said that it is collected on accrual basis, and we shall be paying it on a monthly basis. Then you can say, okay. Are we together up to that point? Then we move to the next part. Set up the following users. I think we are going to set up the users and then also capture up to, let me see, if we capture the account, we shall be having suppliers, items, customers, and some transactions. I think we shall end on capturing the accounts. Then after, on Monday, we complete this part, all of this part. I don't want to go so fast. So let's set up the users. We said setting up the users, we move to company and we look for users. Let me see, pardon and sales tax, okay. Sales tax, we said let's go to preferences and look for sales tax. Here, we move to company preferences. Sales tax, I said here, I said in sales tax item, we have to enter the sales tax name. Have to enter the sales tax name. So, and tax is an item. Here, remember when you are capturing items, we have services, inventory, non-inventory. So it is the sales tax falls under a tax type called, an item type called sales tax item. Then the name we use VAT. VAT. Then the class, it was under class called sales tax. Then the description, we said it will be charged on all chargeable items. Then they always give us a rate, a tax rate for a certain company, and we said ours is 18%. Then who is our vendor? The vendor we chose, URA. This is the same as like capturing the vendor information. Then after you say okay, after choosing the vendor, you can say okay. But for me, I've captured all this information before, so it won't be able to replace. You can cancel this. Which days Ida? Ida, are you okay with it? Okay. Then, and I said that these are a code, like I sent those tax codes. If the item is taxable, we put tax, just like the code. And if it is non-taxable, we just use none to show that that is non-taxable. And we said the other thing that we shall be collecting this. We shall be collecting this information on accrual basis. Like we collect money as we be saving that tax. And at the end of the month, we shall be paying our vendor, that is URA. At the end of the month, we shall be taking the tax collected in that month to URA to clear up our tax liabilities. Then you can say, okay. Then we are going to capture users. And we say that to capture the users, we move to capture the users, we go to company and choose users. And we are setting up just new users and their roles. We are already having a default user called admin. That person who has installed QuickBooks and has customized it. It's called the admin. Then we need, and what is his role? The roles of the admin. These are the roles. These are his roles. Accountant, accounts payable. This person is responsible for all this information here. Then let's create a new user. Let's create a new user, and according to the question, Khadija, what should I repeat? Okay. So the users, when capturing users, I said to capture the users, we go to company. Under company, you look for users in the list of company. You look for users, and under users, say set up users and their roles. Right now, we are going to just capture a new user. And at the moment, we are having a default user called admin. Then we add in another user. Admin, I told you, is someone who will install a software, add in all that is needed, even customize the software. Then you may have your own accountant. Let's say our user is accountant or official accountant. Official accountant. official accountant. We give him a password. Let's use 123, even confirm the password. Edit. 123. 123. Then rows. What should this person be responsible for in your system or in your company? This person, the official accountant, is already your accountant. Is having the roles for the accountant you add, assign, like these are the available roles, and these are the roles that you assign to that user. So the accountant should also be responsible for accounts payable, like those that are demanding due. This person should be responsible for them, like reminding them to, paying them their money and writing in the books, accounting for the payment. Then accounts payable, accounts receivable, those are the people that you're demanding. This person should also be responsible for the accounts receivable, like reminding them to pay your money and even collecting the money from them. Then banking should be responsible for all the bank accounts, like depositing money, paying people using check, and even paying them using cash. Then you have the external. It can be your external accountant who manages other businesses of yours outside, but when they are running the same QuickBooks. Then it should be your financial manager. He can have, don't allow him to have full access, because there it's like you have handed over the whole company to him. Then we have, is responsible for inventory. In case inventory is done, he can reorder. Then it's your payroll manager, is responsible for paying your employees their money. Even processing, responsible for processing the payroll, knowing that this person is supposed to get HMD, supposed to get 500,000, knowing that different amounts every employee is supposed to get. Then he's also responsible for purchasing the goods, even the sales. When sales are made, these people bring money to him and he enters. Then tracking time, and can also have view only. There are some things there that he can't edit or he can't do anything on them, but can only look at them. Those are the roles of your accountant. Then you can say, okay, hope we are together with the accountant. Then we move to the next user. We call this the auditor. We shall give him a password of 147. Then the roles. The auditor, this one just approves the books of the accountant. He looks into the books and he sees, has this person been doing the right thing? Are the transactions that have been carried out the ones that were supposed to be carried out? Sabrina, any question? Okay. Then, what are the roles of this person? He can be your accountant. He's responsible. He looks into the accounts payable, like your creditors. The auditor, he also looks into the accounts receivable. Have these people paid the money, and have they paid the real amount that we are supposed to pay, or some was grabbed? Then we have even looked into the bank statement. Are the transactions in the bank the right ones? Auditing the books of the accountant, like he follows up the works of the accountant. Then what are Then we can't be our external, we can't manage finances, we can't have full access inventory, payroll is not responsible for those. Then you can also view only. Those are the duties that I want the auditor to be doing in my company. So you can say, okay. Then those have been our users and their roles. Then you can close up this. So let's look at our last part for today, where I said that we shall be capturing the accounts. And among our accounts, we had share capital, computer equipment at cost, computer equipment, accumulated depreciation, then accrued water and electricity bills. So let's enter those. How do we capture them? Those are under charts of account. And I told you to get a chart of account, you can come to list. There is chart of account. You can come to accountant. There is chart of account. Even under custom, no, not customers. They are in only those two. Yeah. So we can move to list and choose chart of account. We want to capture some accounts. We see there are some accounts that we captured already, where we have equity deposit, big and yeah, okay, and yeah, we only had equity and big. So our opening balance equity at the moment is 31, the total of our opening balance, according to the one that you have entered in the bank. So remember, there is some account we didn't capture, and that was the petty cash book. So petty cash book account falls under bank. You see, we are having petty cash. So here we enter the petty cash, the name, and we say this will be a petty cash book. Petty cash book. Description for all cash transactions. For all cash transactions. Then the opening balance. Where are you lost from, Emma?
From what you're doing.
Okay. So I said we are capturing some accounts. And when we are capturing the bank account in our preferences, in the checking preference, we never captured the petty cash book because it didn't have any option there. So I said we shall capture it from this part here, the item list. And capturing that, we go to new. Then you have to know where your account, the account you are capturing, where it falls. And then the petty cash falls under bank. So you click on bank, and it even gives you the options that follow under that type, that account type. So in this, we are having petty, we are having checking, we are having savings, and we are having even the money market. So we click on continue to capture the account name and the balance. And here we are having petty cash book. And we say the description, let it be for all cash transactions. For all cash transactions, and our opening balance was, let's see in the question. In cash, we had Was it? It was 12M in cash. We had 12M for any transactions that we are going to do by cash. Statement ending, let it be 31st. Okay. Then here you can say save and close. So our pet cash book is here, and you see our money, our opening balance has also increased. Then we move to the next account. What was it? Capital. The capital account. We also just capture that new where the capital falls, capital or the share capital, it falls under equity. It was share capital. Share capital falls under equity. Remember those things of shareholders, so shareholders capital is under equity. It's like their assets for a company. There are things that there are things that you use to run your businesses. So you go to next. Then what was it? The name was share capital. Then the opening balance. Let's see the opening balance. How much was it? The pet cash book, I think I've entered the wrong amount in the pet cash book. It was 6. So this the share capital was the one that had 12M. As of now, that date, as of when are you capturing it? Let's say we captured it on, okay, captured it on first, let's use 1st Jan. Then you can say, okay, you have used the opening balance for share capital. Okay, I'm going to change it, Kevin. I've just realized it too. Then here you can say, save and close. I want to edit the opening balance for the pet cash book. So come to the pet cash book. You can right click from there and say edit account. Edit account. You want to edit the opening balance. The code. Okay, now it has changed. Then I can close up this for the pet cash book. Now when we come back to our account here, we see that our income for the pet cash book has changed. I had made an error on it. Then let's see. Instead of that here, the date for the now for this, let's see. Let me explain it on the next account. 6 a.m. Okay. Let me change that again. It is 6 a.m. Then I have to edit again. So we call that 6 a.m. That's how we edit the bank accounts. So Hadija asked, why have I used the 1st Jan instead of 30th? So let's capture another account here and we see why I've used that. The next was computer equipment at 5 M. So let's go there. We capture computer equipment. It's a new item. 30 cash book. Okay, let's first capture the computer equipment, then we edit the cash book again. So computer equipment, it falls under 60 assets. Computer equipment, it is a machinery. It falls under machinery and equipment. That is a 60 asset. Continue. What is our name? It is computer equip. Computer equip. Then the opening balance, let it was 5 M. Then the date. The reason why I'm using fact as of like the current date, when you are as of which date are you capturing that opening balance. The other one of 31st August, it was a statement ending date when the bank should be when should the bank be giving us the bank statement, like it is a closing date for the bank to give us the bank statement. And this that I'm entering here is it's the opening date for my new financial year. That's why I'm taking 1st September instead of 31st August. For 31st August, it's when the bank should be giving me the bank statement. And for this, I'm capturing an opening balance. Hope we are together now. Then we enter another item. What was our next item? Our next item was computer equipment accumulated depreciation. Where like this falls under the item. It falls under accumulated depreciation is a liability, and it falls under other current liabilities. I don't think it is a long term. It is under other current liabilities. It is an obligation that we always had to repair that machine, but we never. Okay, computer accumulated depreciation. Then the opening balance. What was our opening balance according to the question? Opening was 90,000. 90,000. As of this, now this is an opening balance as of which date? 1st September, when our financial year has just started. Then you can say, okay, save and close. Yes. Then I think we are remaining with one. Accrued water and electricity bills there of how much? 100,000. So Oh no, I didn't even show for us, pardon, admin, 30, then, okay. Admin, you asked how we edit. You click on the account that you want to edit. We wanted to edit petty cash book. Edit petty cash book. And you come here where I say change opening balance, because you wanted to change the money in the petty cash book. And you click there, it takes you on the form where you can edit from. So you come where you have deposit. Here I had put 60 M. At first I had put 12 M. Then I changed it to 6 M. Then I was reminded that our amount was 60 M. Then after entering that amount, you click on record. You record that amount. After recording, you can close that interface because you no longer need it. Even this, you close it because you no longer need it. So by the time you come back here, you are having 60 M, the new amount that you have just entered. Then someone said, pardon, okay. Pardon on the accumulated depreciation for the computer. So I assume I'm capturing a new account for that. And I told you accumulated depreciation falls under a liability. Depreciation is a liability. Okay, accumulated. Is it accumulated or no? Accumulated depreciation. Okay. I told you accumulated depreciation falls under a liability. But in these items you are having here, we are having nothing like I told you that accumulated depreciation falls under liabilities. But when we check in this category we are having here, we are having nothing like liability. No, it's not a fixed asset. It is a liability for you to pay. That's why it has a normal credit balance. It's not an expense like this. Let me give you an example. Let me say you are having a car. The car, those tires on a daily basis, they wear out. But whenever they wear out, you don't take them for repair or to change them. So there is a point that reaches when you are supposed to change them by all means. So it was a liability that you never fulfilled at that moment. But at the end of that day, you had nothing to do, only to change the tires. So it's a liability. Remember, we said that liabilities, they are obligations for you to pay. It's a must, but you can't hide away from making a repair of your machine. So you go to under other account types and you choose it's a current liability. We can't put it under long term because most times these things they don't go beyond a year till you repair them. Then you click on continue, and then here you put in the account name where we say that it will be a computer accumulated depreciation, and then you enter the opening balance. Let's look on the last one. Last one was the crude water and electricity bills. So it's a new item. Crude water and electricity bills, they also fall under other current liabilities because they are accrued. You haven't paid them. Continue. Enter the name, crude water and electricity. and electricity. Then the opening balance, we said it was 100,000 as of when? This means that as of 1st Jan, this means that you had to pay for this water and electricity last year, last financial year, but you never, they are supposed to come to this year. Then here you can say, okay. Then you can save and close because you are not capturing any other item. So our transactions, our opening balances have topped up to 83.810 M. So on Monday, I want us to do all the last parts, and we make sure that we are done with that. When we are having a lecture with the physical class, we won't go beyond capturing these items because I want us to be on the same page by then. Hope we are clear today. Any questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Hello.
I have a question. Yeah, I have a question. When you're creating the company, and maybe like when you enter the date of maybe the financial year that you want, maybe like you entered 1st Jan to 31st December. Then when you reach like you're done creating the company, but then when you get to this side, you want like to change, maybe like the one that we've been using, like from 1st September to maybe 31st August of the other year. What do you do? Is there any way you can edit that information that you entered before you started? Yeah.
Most times the information you provide when you are customizing, it's hard for you to change. But I'm going to look into the editing part and see. Because even editing where I thought it could be, it's not there. No, not there because I thought it could be under calendar, but it doesn't fall even under calendar. Let's see. Moment. Let's see. See under company calendar. Let's get this. Doesn't have that part, then I'm going to try and look out for you on how to do that because it doesn't have that part. So I'm going to find a way, but most times when you are setting up a company, the information you provide, most times it is not edited. If you find that you don't have that information in edit preferences, that's why when you put in that your company deals in only services, you can never change into to both products and services because you don't have that option there. But I'm going to find a way. Then 7, no current liabilities, actually is a liability. Yes, we don't have anything like current liabilities, but we are having other current liabilities. It falls under other current liabilities. Yeah, that's all.